board meeting, our superintendent had Don McFadden do a presentation on facilities management report. In that report, there were several photos as well as explanations of how the district is going to move forward with closing our San Francisco Unified Schools in the similar way that they did in Oakland as well as in Hayward, by making sure that we don't have enough parent input and by making sure that this happens at the district level, by saying that we don't have funding to keep our schools open. This is especially egregious right now considering we have a historic time of getting funds from the state as well as the federal government to make sure that our schools can be equitably resourced. There is millions, hundreds of millions of dollars that our district is actually not accessing in funds to make sure that our schools are properly resourced and that we can hire teachers and pay them a living wage. So we're here today in solidarity to tell this Board of Education and Superintendent to stop wasting time, wasting district resources on trying to close our schools and instead pay these teachers on time, now, and today. Our teachers are whole so they can teach our students. Our students feel most comfortable with teachers that they know and in the communities that our communities have built. We don't need this right now, and they need to focus. Focus on our teachers. Focus on the students. If you're elected to supposedly focus on the students, that's what you should be doing. We know that school closures disproportionately affect low-income students, especially black and brown students, and in the recent Stanford studies, it showed that it actually sped up gentrification in black and brown communities. Right. So again, hands off our small schools and focus on paying our teachers. Those of you who want more information, I have these flyers that discuss all of the moves that have been being made by this district to close our schools, including hiring a consultant who does not even have a college degree by the name of A.J. Crabhill, who currently closed schools in St. Louis, in Kansas City, Missouri, as well as all throughout Texas.
You're calling for an unfair labor practice strike?
Well, we want to push the union to start advocating for an unfair labor practice strike. So there are some rank and file members in SFUSD who think that the union needs to push harder against SFUSD and to say this has gone beyond anything that could qualify as an unfair labor practice. We have a third of employees in the district with active tickets that have not been resolved, that they have not been paid. We can't even figure out what our paychecks mean. How is that not an unfair labor practice that we can't tell ourselves whether our paychecks are correct? So yes, we do think the union should be pushing for that.
They haven't even mentioned that here. Why is that?
Because I can't say as to why they have not been pressing that, but some rank and file members do feel that the union needs to push much harder and to bring this issue up in leadership and General Assembly meeting discussions and to begin talking about whether it is appropriate to push for this.
What's your name?
My name's Jason Benchamal. I'm a rank and file UESF member. I teach at Galileo High School.
It seems outrageous. Also, isn't it criminal not to pay people?
It is criminal not to pay people, and they're in breach of our contract. SFUSD is in breach of the union contract because we are owed 12 equal paychecks every year by our union contract, and we're not getting anything close to that right now.
What is that doing to your school when people aren't getting paid?
People are tired, they're burnt out, the demands on teachers are already way too high before this problem even started, and people are showing up to work every day trying to do the best they can for our students, and at the end of the day they're wondering, how can I give any more? I've given everything that I can. It's hard enough to live in this city and pay the exorbitant cost of living that we have here, and then we can't even count on getting our paychecks. People are wondering, why are we even coming to work at all at this point? So we want our union to push harder and to say we need resolutions to these problems right now. We can't wait any longer.
The problem with Empower needs to be fixed systematically. It shouldn't be up to every single person to have to fix their own problem. It's insane. It's the biggest flop I've ever seen, and someone should take central responsibility for it. It's being pushed off on each individual person to deal with their own issue. That's thousands of employees that have been screwed over and been told, now here, we have resources for you to go fix your own problem once a month. It's ridiculous. It's insane.
It seems like it's getting worse.
It's incomprehensible. I can't even say anything more.
So you're for an unfair labor practice strike.
My name is Jennifer Melez. I am a teacher and member of United Educators San Francisco. Our school board talks a lot about competency, and our superintendent and president of the board talk about laser focus on student outcomes, but when you have 3 different groups protesting the lack of care for students in our communities, I think you need to ask if you are in fact showing a student-focused, outcome-based approach.
And I've talked to some teachers here, they're not getting paid. How do they expect people to work when they're not getting paid?
That's a question teachers have been asking since the end of January. Multiple teachers at my site have not been paid properly in 2022.
My name is Mary Sarasoli. I taught at Lincoln High School last year, and I was let go at the end of the year. And I didn't get paid $37,000, over $37,000, and that includes my pension contributions, class coverages, and
How long have you been a teacher?
Almost 20 years. But I taught in New York and I taught in Rome, Italy. So last year was my first year here at SFUSD and my last, and I will never return to teaching after what happened with that principal. She shouldn't be a principal. It was incredibly dangerous. It's still a dangerous school. There can be
What happened there that made you feel, was it health and safety, or what kind of?
From COVID last year. First of all, students didn't have to be tested before they came in, and then they were taking their masks off, and the principal wasn't reinforcing the rules, and actually it was a California state mandate. They weren't reinforcing it. I wasn't fully vaccinated. Full vaccinations weren't required of employees until the 3rd week into the beginning of the school year, so I wasn't fully vaccinated, and students were taking their masks off against my rules in the class. And I told the principal, I wrote letters to her, she did nothing about it, she never responded to it. In addition, the beginning weeks of school, Principal Belizmi called me into her office 3 different times to try to bamboozle me into taking a lower salary and cutting my position from full-time after I signed a contract to be a full-time employee. Blaming it on me that 3 people dropped my class, my AP class, which is normal at the beginning of the school year. And then it's just nothing went right from the beginning until the end of the school year. I couldn't get my laptop so I could use it to teach with. I couldn't get my district email, so I was out of the loop of what was going on. My heritage-speaking Spanish students didn't have textbooks. The world's language director here didn't know anything about what they should have so that they would be in alignment with the California state curriculum. Mind you, I'm new to this state, but I figured out and researched the standards, and this district does not follow the standards when it comes to teaching the ELL native Spanish speakers. And so I had to do twice as much as work because I had to write and create and research for material for them. Even after filing a Williams complaint, this district broke the law. They didn't rectify it until 7 months later. The school year was almost over.
Now this Williams complaint, what is that about?
It's a law stating that schools, you must provide a textbook to every student. And the students didn't have textbooks, they had a workbook, but it wasn't in alignment with California state standards. And like I said, the world language director here said it was okay and that I should...
Who was that?
Monica Cope, I think.
I mean, these are high-paid officials. I mean, they get big salaries, these managers.
I don't know how much she gets paid, but I do know that the superintendent gets paid $71,000 a year less than the President of the United States. And it looks like he is incapable of running an office and getting his employees paid.
You've been teaching before. Has this ever happened to you in your life?
That's a good question. I worked in the New York City Education Department for several years and came out alive. Only one time did I not get paid, and I didn't get paid for 2 months. They called me. The payroll office called me and said, you didn't get paid because we need such and such document. Bring it to us immediately and we'll pay you. You can't get through to the payroll office here, any of these offices, since the beginning of last year when I started. HR, salary, you name it, technology, everything is a disaster. The left hand doesn't know what the right is doing. And so it's been a lot of work because I had to teach, risking my life from fusillades and COVID on the front line with a principal that has no idea what she's doing because she has no teaching experience. She's a guidance counselor. And, and then having to do the work of all the employees here because nobody knew really what was going on, or they're giving you wrong information because they don't really know. So now I stopped teaching June 1st. I'm still trying to get $37,000 from last year. And I just want to leave town.
Do you think these people should be prosecuted? I mean, it's a law that people have to be paid for their work.
And I'm so glad you said that because I had a sign that said that Vincent Matthews is a criminal the last time we were here. And I sent letters to everyone, Governor Newsom, Mayor Breed, and I said, this is a crime, what you're doing. You're breaking the law. I was in contact with Nancy Pelosi's office, but they won't step in because they said they only work on the federal level and not the state. This is really the responsibility of Governor Newsom. He should have stepped up to the plate in January when the problems with payment got serious. United States is different from the rest of the world in that public education is controlled on a state level. So when something goes awry on the local level or the city level, the governor steps up and says, I'm coming in, I'm going to pay you, or I'm going to take care of you. Or for example, recently Kathy Hochul, the governor of the state of New York, stepped up and she said, no more large classes, only classes sizes of 20 students. That is something I remember the union promoting when I first taught in 1996. And finally, only one female governor in our country stepped up and did the right thing, not just for teachers, but for the students, because she understands kids.
So who's responsible here for the fact that they're not enforcing the laws? And apparently these people are incompetent who are...
Exactly. I'm glad you said it. And that's something that I wanted to ask you. Because I have written to every possible politician. I have spoken to so many attorneys. And this superintendent seems to have carte blanche to break the law.
The new one.
And the old one. They're both criminals. Okay, so...
What is the board doing about it?
Sorry?
The board. What about the school board?
I don't even think about them because they're poorly paid and they're really not qualified to make decisions about public education. It's almost like having just Good Samaritans or, come in and sit down, but it's a failed system. It needs to go. Obviously, it should have been changed a long time ago. I don't know, there's something deeply wrong with politics in this city. It's scary because crime pervades. And the question is, who's going to step up to the plate? Because Governor Newsom should have done it a long time ago, or Governor Newsom should have appointed somebody from the state, because we are employees of the state first before the city, because the state has to approve our credentialing. If they don't approve of us, we can't teach anywhere in the state. They also fund a lot of public education.
He died because he went on medical leave, and the district, instead of putting him on the leave of absence, they ended up terminating him on Empower, which canceled his medical insurance, which made things complicated for a man who's already really sick. And the stress and him not being able to get his medicines and so forth eventually just killed him. And I grew up with this man as a young 15-year-old kid running the streets of San Francisco, going to the schools in San Francisco. And then we both end up working for the school district, him a paraeducator, me in the environmental health and safety department. And then to find out what Empower is doing to our staff and our workers, it killed me when I found out he died because of it, and that it was a cause of his death.
So, basically, the idea that you don't have medical care, you don't have compensation, and you're working full-time for the school district?
He had it. He just went on medical leave because he was going through some treatments, and without getting into his illness and so forth, but he went in for some treatments, but when he couldn't get his medicine and had to go through the process of getting it all reactivated, it was too much on him, and it eventually killed him. Just added too much stress for him.
So it's actually killing people, this situation?
It's what I'm saying. It can, and stress is hard on a lot of people, and especially if you're sick and you lose your medical insurance and you go through 2 months of trying to fix it, 3 months of trying to fix it, and when it does get fixed, it's a little too late. The medicine's not there, he's not getting the care he needed, and the stress killed him.
Some of these people said that there should be an unfair labor practice strike. You're not getting paid. It's crazy, but you're doing your job and you're not getting paid. It's supposed to be the law that you get paid. Right. Why are you still working?
These are a bunch of loyal, dedicated workers, not just to the San Francisco Unified School District, but to our clients, and our clients are the students. So we can't just let our students go without. So we're doing our best to serve our kids, from the teachers to the custodians to the student nutrition workers. These are people who have been dedicated to this district their whole career. And they don't want to leave the kids blind, but if push comes to shove, like it says, will strike if provoked. And I do believe a majority of all the district's workers will go on strike if provoked.
Sounds like they're trying to provoke you.
It sounds like it, but it can be costly on all sides. And that's one thing we don't want, but if we're provoked, the people will stand up for their rights. And this is what you see here is unity. It's unity from one union to the other unions, from one community to the other community. When you hurt one group of people, you're hurting all our groups of people, because we're all the same. From one community to the other, doesn't matter where you come from, what lifestyle you live, we all the same.
And this is happening in other school districts. Oakland, they're shutting down schools. In Oakland?
Yes, shutting down of schools now, that's devastating. Keeping schools open, having smaller class sizes is a pipe dream for the schools. So why not keep the schools open and just have smaller class sizes? And, our kids get to learn a little better, our teachers are able to teach a little bit better. They got to use some common sense and put the money into the schools and not to top-heavy management. We're one of the largest heavy managements in the school district in California. We got the top heavy management.
And they have 80 billionaires in San Francisco.
That's right. That's right.
So much wealth here.
So much wealth, but then you look at the workers, there's nobody who can afford to live here anymore. Come on, I grew up, born and raised there in the 70s and 80s, where rent was $400 to $500 a month, and the salary was low back then, but you take it now, our salaries didn't go up with the economy here in San Francisco Bay Area. My old house where I used to live, pay $800 for back in the days, is $6,000 today. But my salary didn't go up that high, It's devastating to the people of San Francisco, and especially the workers who we depend on to come to work every day from who knows where now. Traveling, commute.
They have to commute hours to get here. They can't even afford to live in San Francisco. It must be stressful.
A lot of our people are living outside San Francisco now, because it's so high to live here. And we shouldn't have
lots of $1 million condos, luxury flats, 14,000 empty flats in San Francisco.
Yeah, but our hardworking, lowest paying employees like the custodians and student nutrition workers can't afford it today. Back in the 70s, maybe they could have afforded it. Today, the average San Francisco employee worker can't afford to barely rent in San Francisco without having a second job.
You don't want to talk to the president? You want to talk to me? Yeah, sure. My name is Michelle Cody. I'm a 6th grade math teacher at Willie Brown Middle School. And we're here because there are tons of teachers, educators, people who work for SFUSD who are not getting paid on time, whose 403 contributions are not being allocated, whose health insurance have been canceled. We have paraeducators who have been double charged for their health care, and enough is enough. The expectations that we show up to work, we do our job, we put up our part of the deal. It's now time for SFUSD to do their part.
You have a new superintendent.
We do.
You've had
more problems.
You had a sit-in here, a sleep-in. What happened?
We did. We had a sleep-in, a couple of months ago where we kind of occupied the 3rd floor to let them know that this is a serious problem. And it's structural, right? The HR department needs to beef up. They need more people in payroll. They need more people in benefits. They need more people on the ground to do this work, to answer the phone, to answer emails, because we work from 7:30 to 4. So the moments that we're able to steal to make a phone call, to send an email are very precious. We don't have the luxury to just show up here whenever, because by showing up here, that means we're leaving someone's baby, someone's child from receiving the education that they rightfully deserve. So you want us to do our job. The expectation is that you do your job.
Isn't it the law that you have to be?
So it is a law, and it's really funny because I feel like in any other industry, in California, if an employer doesn't pay you, right, your paycheck, then they're responsible for paying you interest on your paycheck. But somehow with education, they're absolved from that rules. I remember I had a friend who worked for a company and they did not pay her, and we went right down to San Jose, and that company was going to have to pay her 3 times the amount. But somehow School of Ed or educational rules absolve people from that, and so it's unfair that we are not given the same rights as any other Californian.
This new superintendent, what is he doing about it?
I mean, there's lots of emails, but emails and words mean nothing. We're looking for action. We're looking for people not having to worry about, is this the payday that now they're not going to have a paycheck? Is this the time that they're going to want to go see their doctor just to be told that they don't have health care?
They don't have health care.
That they don't have health care. When I go to Walgreens and I want to pick up my prescription, and my prescription should be $5, but in fact, because my insurance got canceled, unbeknownst to me, now that same medication is $700 and $800, and now I have to decide if I want to live or if I want to eat, even though I come to work every day and I do my job.
It sounds like an emergency.
It sounds like a passive emergency. We are on fire. The building is on fire, and no amount of little buckets of water are going to.
You think there should be a strike?
I think that striking is inevitable, and I think that folks are going to walk away from the profession forever. People think a strike is going to be bad. People are going to leave the profession, and then you're going to find yourself looking like Florida, asking any and everybody to come into the classroom to teach your children, and that's not okay.
My name is Christian Benitez. So today we're having an action here at 555 Franklin, our district headquarters, with a different union. So we know the teachers union is here, and SEIU 1021 is here. That represents custodial staff, that represents the clerks, which are the office personnel, and also student nutrition, which is the cafeteria workers.
And why are you here?
Well, the main reason that we're here is we're having a issue with our pay, right? It's a new software that the SFUSD has implemented. They spent close to $20 million, and it's not working. A lot of people are going without pay. They don't know when that's going to happen. There's over 3,000 tickets of which each employee has put in, right? And the norm right now at SFUSD is that, you know what, the system is broken, and be happy that you get a paycheck instead of trying to resolve and fix the issue, right, with something that's not working. And that's really hard to say to people who haven't gotten paid in months. Like myself, I went on leave. I didn't get paid for that leave until almost 10 months later. right? Also, my AFLAC was canceled, even though my payments were being taken out for my payment. When I contacted AFLAC to make a claim on the leave that I was done, they were like, well, your policy has been terminated because for the lack of payment. So the district was collecting my monies but wasn't remitting the payments. So that's just a few of the things that are happening. Another big issue that we have is like the staffing that's happening. A lot of people are leaving. Why is that? Because they're not getting paid. And also, if you go to a different city agency within here, city and county of San Francisco, we're about 30% behind on pay. So we're asking for parity.
You have a new superintendent.
Absolutely.
What has he done about this?
So far, we've been in talks with him, but nothing really has been done. We got an email this morning that they brought in a consultation firm or something, an outsider, to try to fix this issue. But about 2 weeks ago, they paid another company, or the same company, I believe, close to $3 million to try to fix a problem. And all that's doing is nothing. The problems still continue. People are not getting paid, right? And you know, the cost of
corruption here. You think that's part of it?
It could be, right? It could be that that's it, because you know, why would they bring in that system when the system we had before was here for years with PeopleSoft, and we never had problems, right? I'm not to say that there wasn't any problems, but not to this level that it affects so many people. You're going to hear of some teachers that haven't gotten paid in 7-8 months.
And this must be destroying lives.
Absolutely.
If people can't get paid.
Yeah, absolutely. Like myself, I had to get into debt. I had to take out loans, right, to be able to cover, you know, my mortgage, to be able to cover my car bills. I can't tell my creditors, hey, my job didn't pay me. Can I pay you when they pay me? It doesn't work that way. But the district seems to think that. They seem to think to tell you that, hey, we're going to try to do something and not do nothing and not resolve it is going to make us whole. That doesn't make us whole. That's why we're here today for this action, right? So that, you know, everybody can be made whole, not just our groups or our union, but for everybody in San Francisco Unified School District, with the represented class and the unrepresented class, because this is affecting all of us.
And what is it doing to the kids with the stress and that?
I mean, they can see the morale. They can see like their teachers are leaving, their principals are leaving. Everybody, a lot of people are leaving the school. Why? Because they're not getting paid. Like, they want to have people stay here, pay them on time, pay them what they need to be paid, and pay them accordingly to what their job is.
It's against the law not to pay people in California for the work they've done. Why hasn't there been any prosecution?
And that's the question. That's a great question to ask. And what's one of the questions that we have? Because we have been very boisterous. We've been screaming. We've been hollering to everybody who can hear us. Because like I said, it's not just our union. It's not just SEIU 1021, but it affects everybody who works for the San Francisco Unified School District. This Empower has been nothing but problems from the beginning.
We're here because we're really kind of upset. We end up having to work all day trying to take care of students and families, and we end up checking our paycheck to see if we got enough money paid, and it's never right, and we can't trust them because they keep taking stuff out, so we're doing double work, and it's not
What's
fair.
your name?
My name is Joe Rubin. I'm a teacher at Burton High School.
So you're not getting paid and you're doing the work?
I'm getting paid, but not enough, and I have to check every paycheck because I don't trust them because they keep messing with it every single month.
Who's messing with them?
The district. They got this whole Empower thing, and it doesn't work.
We have a new superintendent. What has he done to solve this?
I don't really understand what he's done because it's still going on. Whatever it's done, it's not working. So he's got to do something different.
Okay, how long have you been teaching?
I've been teaching a total of 37 years, and this is the first set of years that I've been having to deal with this kind of thing.
Can you believe this is happening to you?
Who would actually work without getting paid, right? I would like to see them work without getting paid. I don't understand it.
Sarah Yider. Yeah, we, as Mr. Rubin said previously, we are not getting paid correctly. Our paychecks are all over the place. We are sometimes not getting paid at all. I had one of my paychecks was 33 days late. Some people are being randomly dropped from their health insurance, and we would like to be paid correctly and on time. So this is our job.
Why is this happening?
I do believe it's the Empower issue. I'm not sure exactly what the issue with it is, but it's not functioning correctly. So they need to fix it.
Somebody changed my position in Empower on the last day of the pay period. I'm a 60% employee, they changed me to 40%. In the process of trying to fix it, I ended up 20%, so I was paid as a 20% employee for September, and they also subtracted money from my August pay. So I ended up with a negative gross pay.
I don't know.
And this has been going on for some time here. Haven't there been rallies of the union here and others?
Empower has been in place since January, and so it's late October now, and we're still waiting for these kinds of errors to stop happening.
So in my classroom, when I'm trying to get everyone's attention, we do a little call and response. So I'm going to do this with y'all. You ready with me? All right. KK Kule. KK Kobisa. KK Kobisa. Kobisa Langa. Kakashilanga, Kakashilanga, Madande, 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 Madande. I get my Beyonce moment every once in a while on my time at costume. Good afternoon, SFUSD educators! All right. Thank you so much for coming down here to stand in solidarity with yourself, with your peers, with your future, with the future of our unified school district. Today we have our Nightmare on Empower Street rally. Now you might be asking yourself, Miss Cody from Willie Brown Middle School, who teaches 6th grade math, what are you wearing? I am dressed up as an educator who expects to get paid on time. Who expects her 403B contributions to be there when they're supposed to be? Who expects to go to Walgreens to pick up her medication and pay that $5 copay just to be told your insurance has been canceled, now you owe $700. So, I did my part, now we're asking the district to do theirs. So, we're going to get started. We are going to get started. It is so important that the people in here hear us, because they need to understand that there's pressure out here. And in order for you to change something, you need to do what? You have to change as a science teacher, when you're trying to change something, right? When you're trying to bake something, something gets baked because what? Because we change the pressure. We make it hot, and by making it hot, it cooks it, right? And then it cooks it to let you know that it's done. Well, SFUSD, we are cooked and done. And we are ready to go, all right? So, over the summer, I don't know, I was vacationing in Florida. And when I was vacationing in Florida, I heard the governor say, we need to find teachers. And we're making the teaching profession too hard. So if you have any kind of college education, come on into the classroom, come on in and help support our kids. Because they didn't think to themselves, why don't we respect the people who put their mind, their spirit, their love on the line for your babies every single day to show them what they need. They weren't ready for that. And so I traveled 3,000 miles back here just to be met with the same disrespect from the school district that raised me. I went to Lakeshore, I went to Aptus, I went to Lowell, right? So I'm an SFUSD baby, right? And I got my undergraduate degree from Howard University in economics because I thought I was gonna go, thank you Howard, yes. Don't get me started. I thought I was gonna go to Wall Street, and I thought I was gonna be up there making lots of money, living on Central Park West. But every summer I found myself coming back and working summer programs at Aim High. And it was there that Aim High told me, you need to be in the classroom. You inspire your children, you inspire your coworkers, you inspire leadership. This is where you need to be. So I said, no. I need to be rich. That's what I need to be. Because growing up in this very expensive city, I was told if I wanted to purchase a house, if I wanted to go on vacation, I had to make a certain amount of money. But I decided to come back inside the classroom. Not because I'm trying to save anybody, because I'm no one's superhero. What I want to do is I want to come back and inspire my babies. Because I want them to see That math can be some crazy lady who gets excited about numbers, who can joke with you, who looks like your mom, who looks like your auntie, who you see at your church, who you see at your grocery store, the person who's a part of your community. That cannot happen if I have to live 75,000 hours away because I can't afford to live in the city. That cannot happen at the last day of the month, I have to wish and pray to whatever God, deity, spirit, that the paycheck in my account will actually have some money. That cannot happen if I have to worry about the people inside of my community, because it's just not about me. It's about my mom, who is a paraeducator, who got double charged her insurance, whose insurance was canceled over the summer, and it was nothing that she could do. It's about the new teacher of my school, who every day is getting a different paycheck, not knowing if this is the right amount of money, because it's not a real check, it's just like a random paycheck that somebody gives it. It's about the person who's ready to retire and is worried that their retirement will not be ready for them, even though they put the 20 hours in. They did their part, so we're asking SFUSD to do their part. So here's our demands, because I'm roused up right now. I was tired about 20 minutes ago, but I'm roused up now. We are asking for some very basic things. You need to make sure there's somebody in payroll to answer the phone. You need to make sure that there's someone in benefits to answer an email. You need to make sure that anything that has to do with anybody's money is there and ready to go. Because baby, if I don't show up to work, they trust and believe. They take them sub days for me, no problem. No problem. But I come to work every day and I have to guesstimate if you're gonna pay me. That's not okay. It reduces the morale of our students and our families, because if I'm coming in broken, how can I be the best version of myself for my babies? If the folks who get paid the least amount in our community have to work several jobs to worry about their paycheck, how can they come and bring their best self? So we're here. We're not asking anymore. We're past demanding. It is now happening. We have made it happen. It's going to happen. They are going to feel the heat of the 6,000 membership here at SFUSD. They are going to feel it in their sleep. They're going to feel it when they eat. They're going to feel it every single time they walk down the street, because they don't know. We are here and we're ready to go. So we're going to get started with our president, La Presidente, Cassandra Carrillo.
I've never had a better opening. I say every time. Everybody, I'm Cassandra Curry. I'm the president of United Educators of San Francisco, and this is not the first, the second, the third, or the fourth time I've been here. This is not even probably the fifth, sixth, or seventh time you've been here listening to this. Folks from media, being around here. In fact, Michelle and I slept overnight upstairs on the third floor in March. In March, when this issue looked impossible and needed attention immediately. Right? Every time that we come back and we say that something is urgent and something is immediate, that means that it wasn't taken care of the first, the second, the third, the fourth time. We're here again, continuing to put pressure on, because it is never acceptable, and we can't stay quiet even when they've told us they fixed it. Even when we slept over in front of the superintendent's office and occupied the entire third floor. Even when folks who may have started this project no longer work here anymore. That's right. That doesn't mean that the new people coming in need to feel any less pressure, any less urgency, any less anger from those of us who are continuing to deal with this problem. They need to step up, and that means new people are coming in, and God bless, and also we're overdue. It is great. We're going to get on board. We're going to work together, because at the end of the day, we can't keep working with our students and with our families when we can't keep working. And we can't keep working when we're not getting paid to work, because nobody works for free. We volunteer our time as educators all the time. We volunteer for extra stuff that needs attention from our students. During the pandemic, we volunteered so much of our actual time during pandemic, delivering food, curriculum, supplies, making sure students had all of their necessities. And that was while we weren't even physically in front of them. When we're physically in front of students, we need to, as Michelle said, have our full attention on the highest needs of the children and the families in front of us day in and day out. And then we have to go home and take care of our own families and our own children. And how can we do that if the bill didn't get paid? How can we do that if we're uncertain that we can make commitments, promises, and follow through because we're not sure we're going to get paid correctly this month, or not sure what we're going to get paid the next month? We have commitments that are real life, and we are not saints. We are not anybody's individual heroes. We are workers. We are workers who love what we do. And loving what we do is not an excuse for continued abuse. Doing what we love is not a reason to take advantage of us in this now the 10th month of this crisis. This is disempower.
Absolutely.
It's a dumpster fire. And for us to continue coming back month after month and saying it's a problem and hearing that it's going to get fixed, not only will we be back until it truly does get fixed, but hearing that it's going to get fixed is unacceptable. Unacceptable. And every time that our folks who look us in the eye don't meet our expectations, they deserve to know. They deserve to know that they are not meeting expectations. They deserve to know what our standards are. And they've heard multiple times. And that means we're going to keep telling them. So I'm glad to see you all here. I know that we're fighting the fights. I see the emails. We're working on getting all of the information out that we can. And at the end of the day, that's not my job. That's their job. And they need to know they need to do their job. The school board needs to hold them to the fire and get our money, our retirement, our benefits, our children's funds that we live off of back in our pockets, in our bank account, and making sure we can focus on what we do best, which is educate children.
Yes.
We are not going to get into any discussions around how much time we spend checking our paychecks. My God, it's incalculable. Incalculable. They need to fix this. I'm glad you're here for support. Please make sure that this doesn't die down, that we keep the pressure on them at every step of the way, that we're going to make sure to look them in the eyes and fix this problem completely, entirely, up to standard, meeting expectations. Thank you all.
Cassandra hit you with that standard-based meeting, you know what I'm saying? We don't want it one, we don't want it two, we don't even want a three, we want a four. We want that high expectation. All the way up. All the way up. All right, we're going to start off with our affiliate, with our homie, with our people. SEIU, Rafa, come on down.
But I wanted to wear the mask as part of my costume to make a point. I was considered an essential worker, just like a lot of my members from the custodial department, the clerks, the student nutrition workers, the health workers, all our people out there as classified workers. We put ourselves on the front line to keep this district running and to keep it going. All we're asking for is respect. Give our workers the respect they deserve. We are opening up bargaining with the school district, and I'm here to say our workers deserve pay equity. Pay equity with the same work, same pay that the city gets. We want our employees in the San Francisco Unified School District to get pay equity. The Board of Education needs to hear this and understand this. We are powerful when we stand together. And look at the group here today. It's UESF, SEIU, our transgender people, everybody. Equity is what it's about. And we want everybody in the school district to be treated with equality across the board. No more games, no more excuses. Pay the teachers. Pay your employees. Empower sucked from the beginning, and Empower sucks today. Empower is also a killer. It killed my friend. I don't know if you guys know Ed, but I grew up with Ed. He was a para-educator and a good personal friend of mine. So Empower is not just a destroyer of families and hurting the people who work for the district, but it's a killer. Get rid of Empower. Thank you.
Next we have another SEIU member, Miss Lorraine Bowser. Are we ready? We're gonna have to stand up. I'm here today. I'm a native of San Francisco. I'm an employee of the Unified School District. I've worked 32 years with the school district. I want to make sure that I will have money to retire. Okay? I have to make sure because I am a native. I worked 32 years for the school district. I've raised my son through college, working a part-time job, and I've made it, okay? It's no way we're gonna let the district get away with the shit that they do, and excuse my language, but I have to say a little bit of something, okay? But we need to hold strong. We're gonna work this together. We're gonna be with UESF. UESF is gonna be with SEIU 10 to 1, and we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Love you guys.
Everybody for coming out today. I appreciate you guys 100%. The educators.
Get closer, yeah.
Close. Okay. I want to say thank you to everybody who came out here today in solidarity with us, the teachers union, everybody who's here with us, right? You know, we're here to say that, you know, we're fed up with this, right? Yeah. We need to get paid. We need to have unity. We need to have parity with the city. We have a lot of our workers here who have been working very hard for a long time and haven't, like Rafa said, have not been have that respect, right? Yeah. We have a lot of our new employees that at this moment still do not have their benefits, even though they have passed their probationary period. We have a lot of our members to this moment that their paycheck system has not been resolved. That is a huge issue, right? Because our bills keep coming, right? The creditors don't stop. It is the most expensive place to live in the world here, and we don't have the funds to do that. We are the biggest school district in Northern California, right? We have the most money, but we seem to spend it, or they seem to spend it on everything else but where it counts, right? We're here, right, with the community, with the people who live here, and that's what we're asking. We're begging you at this point. You know, we're gonna take an action, right, if these issues do not get fixed or they get resolved, because all we have is promises that never get met, right? All we have is false promises, and we're tired of that at this point. Again, I want to say thank you to everybody who came out. Thank you.
Speaker is from UESF, and that is Kelly Phillips, a new educator at Everett Middle School. Kelly, come on down.
My name is Kelly Phillips, and I'm a first-year special education teacher at Everett Middle School. Before working at Everett, I was a paraeducator for 3 years at Tenderloin Community School. And I love working with students and families, so I'm happy to be full-time doing what I love. Unfortunately, I've had an experience with Empower. Unfortunately, I've had an experience with Empower as both a para and a first-year teacher. In June, I tried to go to the doctor, and I was told by Kaiser that I'm not in their system, which is weird. I'm a para. I have insurance all summer long. It took until August until it was fixed by SFUSD, and I could go to the doctor again. And then as a first-year teacher, right, I, lived off my savings over summer, what little I had. It's drained. First-year teacher, first paycheck, $830. I found out looking at my paycheck that it was $830 because I was still classified as a paraeducator at Tenderloin Community School, even though I had been working for weeks at Everett Middle School.
Oh my God.
My paychecks, I guess now, I'm still being paid bi-weekly, so the numbers are starting to level out, but honestly, I've never had a correct teacher's paycheck in the past 3 months, so it's impossible to decipher what's going on. Yeah, that's anyway, I'm super grateful to be at Everett Middle School, and I want to keep continuing to do my job and learn to be an educator and support students, but it's not going to be sustainable for me, for anyone here, if SFUSD doesn't get it together and pay us. Thank you.
So although Kelly is a unique individual, her situation is not unique. We have tons of paras who have transitioned to becoming classroom teachers who are guesstimating their paycheck for the last 3 months. The fact that her paycheck was only $850 as a para-educator in the city, where I think it was like $90,000 is the poverty rate, is also a problem. But we're gonna put that on the side because we gotta get paid first before we complain about our pay. It's levels to these things, right? Next we have SFUSD, another workforce firm, UESF, and Hughes.
Hi, I'm Ann Hughes, and I've probably been in a PD with many of you. I've taught 4th grade at Hillcrest for 22 years. So I'm making this point. I haven't changed jobs or school sites, and it's been 17 years since my last pregnancy leave. And yet this month, for the second time, my paycheck was a hot mess. The good news is I was able to get my money by October 18th with a lot of help from Baby Shark back here. But my rage and frustration that for 21 years, honestly, I pretty much paid zero attention to my monthly pay stub because it was always the same. Since Empower, I've had 2 checks with the same pay. We're not hourly workers, right? So we are taking time from teaching, planning, and prepping to scour our stubs, to go to payroll, to lodge grievances. And I have the bandwidth and the relationships and some savings, so it was crazy effing frustrating, but I could work my way through. How the hell are we going to keep our new teachers? Where is she? When they have to fight to get their checks, when they have to fight to get paid. I had a first-year teacher ask me today, when do I walk out? My timesheet just got erased when I submitted it. Sorry. Our battles should be for resources for our students, for support for our families. But instead we're having a rally to say, give us our salaries. This is the craziest thing I have ever had to fight for. I know nobody is enjoying this situation. And I'm not certain of how to fix it, but I do know that there is not a single teacher who goes into this profession because of greed.
Right, absolutely.
So if a teacher shows up saying, I need my money, give them whatever they say they need that day. You gotta pay us.
The fact that people have to figure out their paycheck, the fact that payroll is only open between the hours that we're in class, the fact that not enough people are in the classroom doesn't seem to make an alarm for folks. But I want to take a moment. There's a couple of things. I got a couple of text messages because there's a couple of things I gotta tell you. First things first, although we are here because we are pissed, we are still educators at heart.
Trick or treat, smell my feet, pay us now so we can eat. Try that out. Trick or treat.